All right. Shalom, Akim. Start the lesson. Doing give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Kakadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great Muslims, and taught us the truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akim that's pushing this truth. And out to the sincerity around the four corners of the earth that is to lead to us, Shalom. Okay, I'm the brother Yara Aliyah, the great Muslim camp. I come back to the spirit power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi. Making the lesson. Okay, in this lesson, I'm be going into how we are enduring because Yahweh loves us. Okay, understanding that Yahweh did the greatest sacrifice was which was sacrificing himself for us sake, ultimately for the elect. Okay, in the nation of Israel, but mostly okay for the elect, man. And you being in the truth, understanding that understanding that the price that Yahweh had to pay for us. Okay, everything that you go through, even to the end, we are to endure because we understand that Yahweh was the ultimate sacrifice. Okay, he was the price that needed to be paid that nobody else could have did, man. Okay, and endured it in the worst way. Okay, nobody could have went through what Yahweh went through. All right, going through humiliation, being beaten. All right, going through that, how can I say, going through that harsh, okay, conditions, being beat. All right, all right, and we are to endure, man. All right, because Lord loves us, man. Okay, Yahushua loves us. Okay, Yahushua, is waiting for us. Okay, Scripture say, he's not gonna drink wine till he drink with us again. All right, so hey, we gotta make our big brother proud. Okay, which is Yahushua. Okay, that's why that's why we go out on the highways and byways. All right, to preach. All right, because that's what it's commanded of us to do so. And as well too. Right, we understand that you being a prophet, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, prophesy. Okay, go out on the highways and byways and preach. All right, that's what was commanded of us to do. All right, put our bodies, as a living sacrifice. All right, because that's the scripture say that the only duty of man is to serve the Lord and keep His commandments. And you serving the Lord is you going out highways and byways preaching. Okay, but jumping back to the title. Okay, we going through our little endeavors, man. We going through our little trials and tribulations for ultimately to be saved. Okay, but understanding that hey, there's there's a big thing coming, man. There's salvation coming. All right, and we don't want to let we don't want to let our brother Yahweh shy down. Okay, he did it for us. All right, we just in a sense repaying the favor. Okay, doing what he told us to do, prophesy. Being a brother, being diligent. Okay, these were things that were prophesied of us to do. All right. So yeah, brother, keep that in mind, man. We are enduring because Yahweh loves us, man. All right, and he's on the right hand side of the Father, to Yahweh, waiting for the green light, to come and destroy this place and to save his brothers, man, and the elect. Okay, to save that 144. That's that's what the Lord is waiting on. Not even Yahweh know the day that he's gonna come back. But and also too, when you put it like this, even to us, when we going off. Okay, and the Lord is supping with, all right, the Father, not to bring down too harsh judgment upon us, man. He's the mediator. In Creole we say avocat, which means lawyer. When you get put in between a judge, you can't just go, in front of the judge by yourself, man. You need a lawyer. You need somebody to advocate for you, man. All right. Okay, we can't just go to Yahweh by ourselves, man. No, man. That's why we have Yahweh shot. All right. Through through Him, we have grace. All right. And, there's there's people that like to X out Yahweh Shai, in the picture, but he's a great factor. All right, but I had a couple of precepts lined up. The Lord when the lesson is edifying. Okay, and I'm gonna jump with John chapter 15. I'm gonna start at verse 9, and it says, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue in my love, right? Man, continue in the love, the brotherhood. All right, continue doing what you're doing. Okay, the actions that you show that you love the brotherhood, man. Continue unto them. All right, and it says, if you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in His love." This is direct letter to this is Yahawashi. If these things have I spoken unto you, that my joy remain in you, that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love another, have I loved you. Greater love no man than this, that laid down his life for his friends. And who was the number one example? Who was the greater love that laid down his life for his friends? The Yahawashi. Okay, and even going fast forward into, okay, even until the times to come, right? Some brothers gonna have to be martyrs, gonna have to die for this truth, but that ultimately shows your love. Okay, understanding that it's bigger than you. Okay, what you going through is bigger than you. All right, it's not just you just going through it and just yeah, no, man. That shows your love for the ministry, for the brotherhood. Okay, and that's what Yahweh was very adamant about, man, being a brother, being charitable. All right, and it says, "You are my friends if you do whatever so I command you." That's right. Yahweh call us his friends, man. Okay, his brothers. All right. So we know we are to endure. Okay, go through what you gotta go through for your Howard shot. All right, because he loves us, man. All right, he did what he did because he loves us. All right, continuing on, it's Matthew 26. Grab that right quick. It was 29. That's right, man. This is Matthew 26, verse 29. It says, "But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of the fruit of the vine to the day when I drink it with you, it's like it, until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." All right. So, us going through what we're going through. How should I say that he's not going to drink, wine until we drink it together in the kingdom. All right. So, that's going to be a sight to see. Okay. So you are to endure, man. You are to go through with your little trials, with our little endeavors and our little things that we go through. It's not to compare to what the Lord went through. All right. But understand that there's beneficial things that come with enduring. Okay. It builds patience. It builds temperance. Okay. In this truth. You're not just being you're not just being a nigga in this truth, all right? But enduring for Yahushua, okay? And that's the example that we are to use, man. That endurance that that Yahushua had to go through, we are to use that same thing, being in the same mindset of enduring and not quitting, okay? Because we have some men that that lost the fight, man, and that gave up too easily. And you don't want to be that person, man. Because soon as because in a sense, okay, the elect are not gonna taste death, Salakia. There's certain men, okay, that would not taste death, okay, and then you'd be saved, and then they're gonna be right in the kingdom, and then we ought to understand that, okay, the two-thirds gonna have to die on the side, but in the kingdom they're gonna be good, all right, but they're gonna be in the kingdom with their head down because ultimately, okay, they're gonna remember all the things that they did. Well, I'm not gonna say that, they're gonna know, all right, that they messed up, man. We're gonna be there to comfort them, all right. But ultimately understanding that the elect are enduring for the salvation as well. But we here we doing it for the love that that Yahweh shall have for us as well. Okay, continuing on, and we are to endure, man, because that's gonna be a great situation, man. When we in the kingdom and drinking wine with Yahweh Shai, okay, that's gonna be beneficial. Okay, now we're gonna understand why we went through what we went through. All right, going on. This is John 17 and verse 9. And it says, I pray for them. I pray not of the world, but, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. And it says, and all are mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. Right, man. This is Yahawashi speaking of us, man. I pray for them going into the elect. All right, you're not praying for the world. All right, so Lord said he's praying for us. Okay, he endured for us. All right, so it should behoove you to serve the Lord, man. It should behoove you to to Reverend Child Shine when you know what he went through. Okay, the Lord could have chosen anybody else, but he chose you to endure, man. All right, Lord is praying for us daily. Okay, supping for us daily. Okay, so endure, man. Fight, fight the good fight of faith. All right. Can we say that there's a crown laid up for you? All you gotta do is fight, man. A fight is not just get punched and knocked down on the floor. No, man. A fight is a continual fight, getting knocked down and getting back up again. All right, not letting your sins weigh you down. Okay, not letting nothing come separate you from the love of the love of Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, but hey, brothers, that's a lesson. Low in this lesson is edifying. Okay, with that, I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakadash. Everyone to start apostles and great notion that tells us truth, peace and blessing to the sincere Akim. Okay, brothers, keep enduring, man. Understanding that, hey, Yahweh Shai loves us and He's praying for us, man. Okay, and we almost out of here. Though the lesson is edifying, with that, I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakadash. Everyone to start apostles and great notion that tells us the truth, peace and blessing to the sincere Akim. Yeah, I do want to say shalom.